Welcome to a special and massive episode of Mighty Car Mods.
Now recently Subway challenged us to go faster and we accepted the challenge. But before you can go faster, you need a mad car.
So the first thing we're going to do is go and get one.
Alright, so we found a mad Beetle here. It's in Seven Hills, so it's not far away. We're going to give a call and see if we can see what we can work out. Oh, it's ringing. I love this bit about buying cars. We've driven to the outer suburbs of Sydney where we found this mad bug advertised for $5,500. But we've negotiated the price down to $3,900, which means more money for mods. And another 500. You got a pen, Marty, and we'll do the paperwork, and then we own a Volkswagen.
Awesome.
This is a 1974 Volkswagen Beetle. Ours is the luxury version, and this actual car appeared in an official VW commercial for Japan. The Beetle has been manufactured from 1938 through to 2003 and is the longest production run of any single car design ever, with over 21 million models produced. They were designed by Ferdinand Porsche for sustained high speeds on the Autobahn, but they became so much more than that, and in the 1960s they became a symbol of the hippie movement. Its lightweight, low price and unique look has meant that the humble bug has stood the test of time. But it's not all cuteness. Bugs have a solid history in motorsport too, particularly in rally, off-road and drag racing. In 1999, when determining the most influential car of the 20th century, the Beetle was right up there near the top, just behind the Ford Model T and the classic Mini. The Bug is powered by a 1.6 litre, 4-cylinder horizontally opposed air-cooled engine, and depending on conditions, it might be able to propel you from 0 to 100 in under 25 seconds. And its quarter-mile time with a tailwind is around 22 seconds. Okay, Martin, so here it is. This is our 1974 VW Beetle.
A super bug.
Well, it's got an L on the badge.
Which apparently means luxury. I don't know if someone's just put an L on there, but it is kind of luxurious.
It's very luxurious, Martin. It's got seats.
I noticed that ours has a dashboard.
It does.
Padded dashboard.
And a toothpick, Martin, that's being used. That said, there's not a whole lot of automotive archaeology to go on. There's not a lot of stuff. I don't know.
What's that?
It's the stuff that was in the boot.
Is that a new dash pad?
Not the boot, it was in the...
What's that? Dude, that's not service history. Did we buy a car with a service history?
I don't know, did we?
Really?
Look at that!
There's a lot of stuff in. Dude, this is 1983.
That's a service. It is a service history all the way back to 1983, Martin.
How much does a service cost in 1983?
$27, Martin.
Oh wow.
No, full service, $35.
That's incredible.
Look at that, Martin. Now, I've never, not only have I never owned a Beetle, Martin, or driven one, I've never even been in one as a passenger.
And you know what? Every single person in my extended family, like older people, have owned one.
Really?
Yeah.
I mentioned it to my mum and she's like, woo!
Yeah. Like I said, my parents owned them. Love them. Still talk about them like 40 years later.
You may have been conceived in one.
So what are we going to do with it? Well, we're going to make it go faster, of course, much faster. In fact, our goal is to make 10 times the car's current power. Yes, you heard that right, a 1000% increase in power. But externally, we don't want the car to look any different. That's right, we're building a sleeper Beetle that's going to be off its face. Now this is going to be a massive job and we're going to need a lot of help. Luckily, our good mate Mike at Custom Bugs and Buses is lending us a hand. He's an expert at all things Volkswagen and his specialty is making them go fast. The first thing we've got to do is see how much power the little bug is making after 40 years on the road.
Okay, so obviously the idea of this video is to make 10 times the factory power. So to know what 10 times the power is, we need to first work out what the factory power is. So we've got the car on a dyno, and this is the moment of truth, because this in a way dictates what the rest of our build is going to look like. So I'm going to throw it out there, I'm going to say, optimistically, I reckon the car's going to make 28 kilowatts at the wheels. A massive 28 German kilowatts.
Oh. I was going to be even more optimistic. I reckon it'll be in the 30s, but it'll only just be in the 30s, so like 31 and a half.
31.5. What about you, Mike? I mean, this is your thing. You're a specialist. Have you dynoed one of these before?
Not at its factory state, no.
So this is an unknown for you too?
That's correct.
All right, so what do you think it's going to make?
I think I'm going to shoot your boat down. I think I'm going to bring his boat down to about 25 kilowatts.
25 kilowatts? All right, well, let's start up the dyno and see what happens. One thing I need to check with you though, mate, is you haven't strapped it down yet. Is there...
I don't think we're going to need it, to be honest with you.
Don't even
Really?
die on it.
I think your push bike could come out quicker than this Volkswagen's going to come out. We've got 2 good sturdy straps there on a good floor, we'll be right.
As in just chocks, no straps?
Just the trocks.
It's his race car's in front of it.
Yeah, his race car. Okay, well,
he wouldn't be doing it.
We're going to follow your lead then. Let's start the dyno, see what happens.
Do it.
Over time, with wear and tear, cars can lose power. So chances are, our little Beetle's lost a few ponies since the day it rolled out of the factory. All right, we've got 23.9 kilowatts, which means we're now building a Beetle that's going to have 239 kilowatts at the wheels. This is going to be mad. So what's the first step?
Well, engine's got to come out. So that's the first thing I think we need to do.
Okay, how do we do that?
I guess. This is for you.
Right.
Page 12.
Yep.
I'll see you in about 45 minutes. You can
Let's
use
do it. We can do that.
All right. 45 minutes, far out.
Page 12. Oh wait, engine's over this way.
Oh. It's in the boot, hey?
Yeah.
Where's the radiator?
Doesn't have one, man. It's air cooled.
What? Apparently there's only 4 bolts holding the engine in, which is pretty scary. So let's throw it on the hoist and pull it out.
We tried all there is to try. I'm not gonna let you fall aside. Let me hold you. I won't let anybody hurt you. So many times we tried to outrun the night. I place my hand on your face. Breathe in. We need to go a little faster, a little faster. We tried.
He wasn't lying. With Mike's help, we've got the whole engine and gearbox out in less than 45 minutes.
I'm not.
It is another day, and with our air-cooled Volkswagen engine gone, now we have to find something to take its place. All right, so we are down here at Ichiban. This is where we come down when we need some serious help making some seriously mad stuff. This is Benny, of course, over here. Hello, Benny. Lay it on me. You're looking pretty happy, dude. You all right?
What are you doing now?
Scotty. You may remember Scotty from our Dr. Nos episode.
How are you?
How are you, mate?
What are you up to now?
All right, we need your help to make some some fast cars.
Here we go.
We need to make an engine that makes hundreds of kilowatts at the wheels.
What are we starting with?
We've already got the engine, all right?
perfect.
So this is the engine from my Forester,
Subaru?
EJ25. Yeah, Subaru, of course,
Easy.
that's why we're here.
Easy.
We've got the whole engine. We just need a bit of help getting it to work.
I thought you said we had the whole engine.
Yeah, that's one half, that's the other half.
That's the block.
But that's why we came here, to you.
All right, bring it on over. Let's see what we can do.
Well, we're building engines, mate.
Yep. Well,
Look at it, it's
bring
complete.
over.
The whole thing is ready. It has been sitting around for a couple of years, and it was full of redback spiders. Google them if you don't know what it is, but they hurt or kill you, or both. All right. In that order.
So what power are we chasing?
250 is probably a good start.
No worries. We're going to need to, put some forged pistons, rods, crank, we'll bore and hone. basically we just make a bulletproof package that should be able to make in excess of 10 times the power.
Awesome. Let's get to it.
Sweet.
Boom.
Go.
Our standard engine was never designed to make as much power as we're going to need, so we're rebuilding it with forged aftermarket parts, which are strong and mad, and the boys at Itchy Barn are showing us how it's done.
This is a really exciting part of the build because the pistons are going in. There's a number of different rings that have got to go in, 5 all up, that have got to go in a very specific orientation and a specific order. But now that they're on, we can literally plonk that thing in, and it's the keystone of the build, really, keystone of the engine anyway, which is very cool.
So the block is now together and the pistons are moving like they should. The heads have been sent away to be machined, but we don't want to hold up the build, so we're borrowing a spare engine.
That one's just going to be dummy fit in there to make sure everything works, and then once we know that's going to be good, that one comes out, and our engine, when that's finished, is going to go in, and then we're going to be doing mad skids.
It is another day, and we've brought our dummy engine out to Mike so he can get to work on the fabrication. Both of these engines are horizontally opposed. The engine on the right is loaded with hippie heritage, and the Subaru engine, rally heritage. Today, Porsche and Subaru are the only two manufacturers that use these boxer engines.
Okay, so this is our 1.6 litre 4-cylinder engine from a Volkswagen with mad carburetor action. And this is a 2.5 litre double overhead cam, variable cam timing, completely modded injected Subaru engine from an STI. And that is going to be going where this one was. And that one's going to be making some mad choo-choo power. How we fit it in there, we have no idea. That's why we've got the specialist over here.
The first problem that Mike has already solved is how we attach the new engine to the old gearbox.
So this is one of the most important parts of our conversion. This is called an adapter plate, and what this allows us to do is join the two worlds of VW and Subaru. So the VW gearbox is going to go onto this side of it, and it's been cut out by Mike on his mill to be able to fit the VW gearbox on the back, which we're going to build the internals of. And on this side, you've got the Subaru engine that matches the right bolt pattern to go onto that. And then in between the two, you've also got the flywheel. So this is also custom made. So this will attach to the Subaru engine, but then the outside of the flywheel has been adapted so it will work with the gearbox where the starter motor and everything else lives. And then you've also got the clutch. Everybody knows what a clutch does. It gets the power from the engine through the transmission and into the wheels. But all these have to be custom made and measured up so that it'll all fit the two together. And from that, you've got a mad VW bug with a Subaru heart.
And when it comes to this Beetle, it is getting open heart surgery. Mike and the boys are doing some serious fabrication, including moving the firewall to make room for this monstrous engine. One of our requirements is that the car still looks stock, so the engine has to fit without half of it hanging out the back. We also have to find space for a turbo and an intercooler setup. With our newfound space, we can wheel the engine in and bolt it to the gearbox, and then start measuring.
So it's another day working on the Beetle, and I've just picked up the heads, and now I'm on the highway where I'm meant to be doing 100, but we're only doing 30 for some reason. Go Ute, go! And now we're on our way to Ichiban to fit them all up, and today our engine should be finished, which means then we can take it down to Custom Bugs and Buses, get rid of the dummy engine that we've been using to sort out all the engine mounts and the fitment, then put our actual engine in, which means then we can get the ECU, which means then we can dyno it, which means then we can make some power, make some boost, which means then we can take it to the drag strip. So it's a pretty exciting day. It's been a huge job so far, and there's still quite a bit to do, but it's very, very, very exciting part of the build that we're up to now. So next stop, Ichiban. We're going to throw this engine together and it's going to be mad.
With the crank, rods and pistons already fitted to our block, today we're fitting our machined heads, which have been cleaned, had the tolerances checked and made completely flat, which means they will mate perfectly to our block. We're making great progress with the engine. Meanwhile, Marty has gone to put together a custom-made turbo.
We're assembling a Garrett GTX 3067, which is going to help our 2.5 litre engine make big power. It is possible just to buy a turbo off eBay, but we're taking it to the next level. The shaft, bearings and wheels are bolted together, and then the whole assembly is spun up to over 100,000 RPM and balanced. This turbo setup is being specifically assembled and designed for our project. Tolerances are extremely tight on turbos, and if you don't get it right, then it's easy for things to go kablamo. We then fit up the exhaust housing and bolt it to the core. The compressor housing is then machined to fit our intake, and the wastegate bench tested. And that is how you assemble a turbocharger from scratch. It's even got our name stamped on it. Mad?
Back at Ichiban, the gaskets and heads are going onto the block. We've also got uprated head studs to keep everything well clamped down, particularly while under boost pressure. We're also installing a new oil pump and a new water pump. And with that done, we're throwing on a brand new timing kit. And Marty has just arrived with our brand new turbo. We are so excited, it's like Christmas time. It's Choo Choo the Red-Nosed Turbo. The last thing to do is attach our sump. We're also salvaging some headers off a wrecked motor, and with that in place, we can test fit our turbo.
We are back at Custom Bugs and Buses, and there has been heaps of progress. Mike has built the new firewall, which means the car is almost ready for our engine. But with 10 times the power, there's a couple of other things that we have to do first.
Now this engine normally powers a car that's all-wheel drive, which means it has lots of grip. This is going to be two-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive, and even though there's a lot of weight over those rear tyres, it might still struggle for grip. So what we're going to try and do is see how fat we can get the wheels and tyres under this thing. So we're going to take it off, measure it up, and see how big we can go.
The skinny factory rims that come on this car are never going to cut it, so we're sending them away to be rebanded and widened so they'll fit a bigger, grippier tyre.
It's time to say goodbye to our dummy engine because our built engine has arrived. It's going to sit backwards from where it would normally go in a Subaru, so it's going to need some further customization. Our adapter plate is going on.
So our clutch parts have arrived. We've got our clutch plate or disc. It's got a solid sensor. We got this from the States. It's still got some cushioning in here, so it'll be nice to drive on the street. We've got our flywheel. Now this is the part that's been custom machined. So we've set a Subaru center into the rest of the unit, which is all VW, so the ring gear and the actual flywheel itself, and then that is spaced out the perfect amount to fit this car. So we're going to throw it on and see if it all fits.
So one of the challenges with this conversion is making sure that the engine is cooled properly. Now most of the time with cars, you got a big radiator along the front, you got your bumper and your front scooping all the air in there, but in the front of a Beetle, there's nothing there. So we've had to come up with something ingenious to keep the car nice and cool. And this is what we're gonna do, which is something that I haven't seen before. This is a radiator that we've got. It's for a Falcon actually, and it is the biggest radiator that we could find that is going to fit in the back of the car. Yes, in the back. So we're going to be doing a rear mounted radiator that's going to be fitting up into this space under here, and then we're going to have scoops that are underneath the car that are scooping the air up into the radiator, and it's got some fans as well. So it is a rear mounted radiator to keep our WRX engine cool in the back of our Beetle that's getting cooled with a Falcon radiator. So there you go, that's a blend of the worlds, isn't it? It's going to be epic, it's going to be awesome.
Hiding a radiator in the back may be unconventional, but it does keep the car looking as stealth as possible.
That looks so good.
Things are heating up, man.
Oh wow. Look at that.
I'm a fan. You a fan?
Oh wow. Quit, man. Please quit.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
stop it.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, please stop.
Don't you think?
You gotta quit,
I
man.
can feel it in my waters how
Oh
cool
wow.
it is.
Stop it, man.
Yeah.
I'm out.
With the terrible puns finally over, the engine gets moved into its new home.
Good job. Good job, boys.
The engine is in and it looks amazing, but it's not going to go choo-choo until our mate Scott plugs his laptop into it. Scott's a tuning specialist and he's going to be in charge of running the engine management system that's going to be controlling the different aspects of our engine's performance.
It's another day and Mike has been very busy being a boss. He's welded in a new fitting onto our fuel tank so we can run a Bosch OF44 fuel pump, which is a proper like high feed, high flow pump that'll work really well for this engine. Then we've run braided lines, which have actually got Teflon liners, so they work with E85. We've run that all the way down inside. They pop out here. There's a feed and a return. Then it goes up and into a fuel filter, which is one we can screw in and out. Then it goes up and feeds into the manifold. Coming back off that, we go through our flex fuel sensor, which means we can run it on 98 or E85. And then that goes back to the front of the tank and returns in the top. So that is a proper fuel system.
That's about as mad as it gets.
That's as mad as it gets. And
That's full legit.
It's flex fuel and it's got a proper filter on there, and the lines are all like done properly. The lines don't run inside the car, they run up through here, which is like a little spine that goes under the car. And it's getting so close, man. It's getting so close.
And today, Marty, we're going to put the exhaust on. We've got to start running the ECU wiring on there.
Yep.
We're waiting on our intercooler as well.
Yep.
We've got our custom wheels that you and I have got to paint that are sitting over there. It's an exciting day, man, and we're very, very close.
So close.
Lots to do, though, so let's get to it.
Matt.
Our rims are back and they've been widened to 6 inches, and now it's time to paint them black. Speaking of black, our exhaust is also ready to go.
Now this here is a very, very exciting component of our build and may well be the shortest turbo back exhaust I've ever seen in my life. It's literally the dump pipe
into a muffler, like that is it. And because the engine's in the back of the car and because the turbo's right here, that we're about to mount up under here, and that's it.
It's time to bolt the exhaust onto the back of the turbo, and with such a short pipe, we should be getting some hectic mad turbo noises. Meanwhile, the boys are getting their geek on, running the wiring loom that's going to run from the Haltech Elite onto the intake manifold, which can then be bolted onto the engine. We can then plumb up the fuel lines as well.
So what we're doing now is dividing the wires up. Everything that's on this side of the grommet, the lower side of the grommet, is going to be in the engine bay and getting hot and all toasty, and everything on this side will be in the car. So this is where we've got things like the fuse box and the plugs that we actually plug the ECU into.
Luckily, the battery is already in the back of these Volkswagens, which is why so many of them used to catch on fire. We need to make a new hole for the engine wiring loom to run through. The signal on the dash is 270 spec, so we also need to add a speed sensor using the drive shaft so that the ECU knows how fast the car is going.
It's so awesome to see something as modern as this Haltech loom here just disappearing into this old classic weathered shell. And Mike and Scott are doing some really cool stuff when it comes to the ECU programming, and one of the main things that we're going to be doing is boost by gear, which is why we needed to put a speed sensor down there, which means that we can have different levels of boost running depending on what gear we're in, and that means we can get off the line without too much wheel spin, and then adjust the boost once we're in second, third and fourth gear.
We're also using sensors to measure fuel pressure, oil pressure, air-fuel ratio, as well as ethanol content, which is all connected via our loom.
We're changing the oil filter and the oil which we're going to use to run in the engine, which will help wash out any contaminants. We'll then change it again before we hit the dyno.
It is another big day. Now Mike and his boys at Custom Bugs and Buses have been very busy pulling a couple of late nights while we've been out getting parts. This is a water to air intercooler. So this is the actual radiator, and he's done something really clever where the air comes in the front through a couple of holes that he's drilled out, and he's made an enclosure behind there that the only way the air can get out is down through this radiator, which also has a pusher fan to keep it cool. Then he's run some hoses through the middle of the car, and they pop out here. So we've got the supply and the return. It goes up into a pump, and then we'll show you in the back what it looks like. This is a completely custom-made water-to-air intercooler, so the hot air comes out of the turbo. Normally you'd see it go into a big front mount, but for this one, it goes into this core, which is completely covered in a jacket of water, and that's what's sent up to the front of that radiator to get cooled down. The cold water comes back up here, and then it cools down the air as it goes through. Mike's done some tricky pipe work here to bend it back around and into the intake. Now that's a really, really nicely packaged up system that will keep our boost nice and cold, because cold boost makes more power.
So today is a massively exciting day because we're going to be throwing a key into the Beetle and seeing if it actually works. Well, it's going to work, isn't it?
Dude, look at this flawless engineering. It's got an engine build by yours truly and the boys at Ichiban, and Mike and his boys have done some pretty amazing work making this fit in such a short time frame. It's going to be mad. It's just missing a few things.
Well, there's only two things left that we need, of course. We need a cob of corn.
Of course, because we're going to use E85, so we corn or sorghum or sugarcane, depending where you're from in the world.
And then we need to keep the pressure of the corn regulator, which is why we're going to need, Martin,
fuel pressure regulator. It's a rising rate one. So as boost is getting piled into the engine, this prevents the boost pushing the fuel back out again. So it raises the pressure as the boost goes up, and there's going to be a lot of boost.
There is going to be a lot of boost, and basically there's a diaphragm in there, so it can squash, squash, squirt, squirt. That has to be connected to those 2 points there where there's currently nothing connected. And once that is on, we can put a key in, we can turn it, and then 10 times the power. That's what we're going for. Let's do this thing.
It wasn't easy trying
get some oil, man. So there's oil in the car already, but that's going to be dropped. That's kind of our run-in oil. But now we got to go down to Supercheap and buy the actual oil that's going to live in the car, which is going in today. Then we're dynoing, we're turning keys, we're making mad power. It's going to be all up.
And now our epic new tyres are ready to be fitted to our custom rims.
Push me harder.
On the drag strip, obviously you need some grip, not just to get off the line, but also to make your way down the quarter mile. So that's why we've made these custom rims. We've gone from a 4.5-inch rim that's got a 165 tyre on it to these ones that are 6 inches. This is a Potenza RE003, which is what we use on all of our street cars. And this is a mad street tyre that's also great for the track. And that is gonna make sure we get some mad grip so we can blast our way down the quarter mile.
Strong enough. It wasn't easy trying to find the words to lie to you. So I
So we asked Mike what the easiest way of putting these on, and he said use hammer hand, which means put this like this, make a hammer with your hand, and then
It's sort of on. Pretty good. Kick it off the hoist. We got close.
Our ECU is fired up, the wheels are on, and the car is full of fluids. It has been months of work, and now is the moment of truth. We're going to turn the key for the first time.
absolute legend. Look at him.
As a gift, Mike has surprised us with this mad oil catch can that he's made out of old hubcaps. We've had the car running successfully for a while now, so we're dropping the oil that we used to run the engine in and then replacing it with a fresh dose of 5W30 and a new filter. With our catch can all plumbed up, we are done. And it's time to get our Beetle onto the dyno and try and get 10 times the power.
Now, not long ago when we first dynoed this car, it was hilarious because we didn't even need to tie it down. We just had a couple of chocks in front of the front wheels there. Now that we're going to be pushing some serious power with a new engine, Mike is strapping it down hard because the chocks are not going to be enough. In fact, we're hoping they're not going to be enough, right?
Definitely, that's definitely right. We're hoping we're going to need these straps and all of them.
We're strapping the car down, we're going to turn the key, tuning forks jumping in, we're going to do a tune on the dyno, then we're going to go for some max power runs and bring on 10 times the power.
As the sun goes down over the workshop, we are strapped down and ready to go.
During our warm-up, we've already made triple the original power. As we continue to refine the tune, we crack the 200 kilowatt mark. And this is only on wastegate pressure. There is still so much more potential. Scotty dials in some more magic and we prepare for a power run.
That is epic. It sounded amazing. The question is, what power? Oh my God! Yeah, boys. Well done.
We have done it, over 10 times the power. From humble beginnings with a 1.6 litre engine and 23.9 kilowatts, we've gone to a massive 267.4 kilowatts at the wheels. And while dyno numbers are a great measure of power, the true test of a warrior is in battle. It seems we're not the only ones who made a turbo Beetle. Volkswagen have made their own, and today only one will be victorious. This is a good old-fashioned drag race. We're not racing the clock, we're racing each other. First person across the finish line at the end of the quarter mile takes the win.
Alright, so here it is. This is the new Volkswagen Turbo versus our Volkswagen Turbo. It's going to be interesting, I think. Alright, I'm off the line. Oh my gosh. He's just gone. He's just gone. There's no keeping up, it's all over. That was awesome. That was so good. Man, it's fast. That is out of control fast. Unbelievable. That was pure choppage.
Volkswagen's new turbo Beetle has been dominated, but now there's a new challenger. This is a 2-litre turbocharged Nissan S14 Silvia, a staple at track days, drift tracks and the mountains of Japan.
Marty is staged up, I am staged up. Let's chop some Beetles, everyone. Oh my God, it's so fast! The Beetle is literally up on its back wheels. It looks like a plane taking off. He's already over the line.
Unbelievable! Our Beetle has well and truly proven itself. We've made 10 times the power and smashed a couple of fast cars. But there's one more race we feel we have to have against a really fast car. The Porsche 911 Carrera is renowned as one of the most iconic sports cars in history and was originally designed by the same man that designed our Beetle, Ferdinand Porsche. With superior performance and ability both on the street and the track, the Carrera holds numerous records on racetracks all over the world, and today we'll be battling it against its great-great-uncle, Mr. Beetle. And while our Beetle may not have the racing pedigree, the lap records, the prestige and the performance of the Porsche, we've got this. A fully built 2.5 litre forged internal turbocharged engine. The boys are dialing in some more boost, and I think we're going to need it. Mike crossed the finish line in his Beetle once at 180 kilometres an hour, on its roof. So he says goodbye as we prepare for the final battle.
The Beetle has to prove itself against a Porsche 911. There he is in his 911, creeping forward.
That little Beetle is going to have to pull something out to beat this though. I mean, this car is 30 years newer.
Come on Beetle, come on Beetle, come on Beetle.
It's a proper fast car. It's one of the most iconic sports cars in the world. So it's going to be really interesting to see how I go versus the Beetle.
Oh, I'm nervous.
The Beetle is staged up. This is it. Porsche versus the Mighty Mods Beetle. Let's do this.
And everybody's laughing at me because I stalled it off the line. This is really hard. I've got to be so careful. Now I'm good, now I'm good. Here we go. Holy shit, that's so fast! Wow! Wow! Oh my god! That is so fast!
Oh my gosh, it's fast. Oh my gosh, the thing is up on its rear two wheels. This is out of control. Oh my god, it is so fast.
That is the most frightened I've ever been on a drag strip ever. Oh, that is crazy. My heart, whoa.
That is a chop. That is a chop, chop, chop. Good on you, man. That was crazy. Round two. Round two.
I just chopped a 911 in our Beetle. That's mad. Whoa, that is ridiculous. Just two-wheel drive, heaps of boost. It shows you that it's never meant to go that fast. And it just nailed it. Mad car. This is our last run. Last chance for me to show the Porsche what this car's got.
Okay, we are lining up again. Here we go. Porsche versus Beetle. And it's on. Oh my gosh. He took off so fast, but I'm catching. I'm catching. He's pulling away. He's pulling away. Oh my gosh.
Wow, that is so fast. That is just crazy. Oh my god. Jump. That's incredible. What a crazy, crazy car. Oh man. Got some serious adrenaline pumping from that. Just the front of the car just lifts up and it just rockets. And once you get it in gear, you let the clutch settle in, let it clamp down, nail the throttle and the front just goes. Oh man. I've never driven anything like that. It's just ridiculous how fast an old car like this can go with a Subaru EJ25 with a big turbo in the back of it. What a crazy thing. Oh.
With 10 times the power and Porsche munching performance, that is a mad, mad Beetle.
We gotta get a game on.
Alright, so there it is. That is our Mad Beetle project, and it is freaking fast.
It's frighteningly fast.
Were you scared?
That was legit fear. That's the worst.
Man, I think you did a very good job considering we're straight out of the workshop, straight off the dyno to the drag strip. That was your first time driving the car, right?
Yeah.
It was battling. That's insane. Look, thank you so much to Subway, of course, for making this opportunity possible for us. We have been wanting to do a project like this for so long, a proper mad sleeper Beetle, but it is months and months of work and a crazy amount of resources that we needed to pull together to do this. So a massive thanks to Subway for giving us this Eat Well, Go Faster challenge. Now, Martin, I think we should let the people in on a little secret about the car's power. Now, we built the engine to handle 300 kilowatts, but on the day we actually had to tune it down to 200 kilowatts because of some issues we had with the clutch.
You're talking about a car, not a fast car that we've made faster. This is something with 23 kilowatts, you know, at full noise, that's now doing way more than that. And even at 200 kilowatts, I mean, we're in the 12s, we're running 12s.
Yeah, I mean, we're running 12s at 200 kilowatts. So once we adjust those minor things with the clutch and put the engine back to what it's made to do, 300 kilowatts, the car's going to be running 11s. There's even been some murmurings of it running 10s from the people who worked on the car with us. So there it is. That is the Mad Beetle. Of course, you can follow us on Faceballs. That is facebook.com/Mighty Car Mods. Thanks for coming on this amazing journey with us. Thanks to everybody who helped with the build. Thanks to Subway for making it possible. I'm going to go and do some wheel stands down George Street.
You will be doing
Let's do
wheel
this.
stands, yeah?
Try not to get arrested.